the market's being driven by the traders right now. It's the most exciting market in the world. It's the only thing you can talk about on Saturday afternoon. It's the only thing you can trade on Saturday afternoon. And
Yeah.
in times of risk off, when everybody's bearish and everybody's kind of bearish right now because of Fed policy and inflation and fears about the future. When they're bearish, they'll act bearishly on the weekend and they'll amplify that. But when that sentiment changes, then it'll work for us in the opposite direction. And even if it doesn't, I think it's just a matter of time before more of the fundamental investors come into the space, right? The life cycle is going to be the deniers will become skeptics, the skeptics will become traders, the traders will become technocrats, and the technocrats will migrate to maximalist in the same way that water flows downhill.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way that people were originally skeptical of using steel and aluminum and electricity, but 20 years later, many of the skeptics had, buildings made of steel with electricity in them, and they were flying in airplanes with aluminum in it. So,
Mm-hmm.
so their progress can be counted on. The only real question is over what time frame. Is it 10 years, 5 years, or 20 years?
MicroStrategy is one of the most famous institutional Bitcoin holders on the market. However, in the midst of market chaos, the CEO, Michael Saylor, has demanded immediate government intervention to regulate the crypto industry. The chief executive officer feels that Bitcoin has been caught in the crossfire of a largely unregulated market, with vulnerabilities in other assets impacting the dominant cryptocurrency. Hello and welcome to Money Talks. In today's video, MicroStrategy CEO and Bitcoin bull Michael Saylor updates about Bitcoin's most recent crashes and extreme volatility in the market. He also addresses the reason behind unstable crypto prices and where the Bitcoin space is headed next. Make sure to stick around till the end of this video where Michael Saylor explains the importance of having a 5 to 10 year time horizon in Bitcoin as an investor. So, without wasting any time, let's dive right into the video.
I think that the crypto industry is going through growing pains, and over the long term, it'll be a good thing, but in the near term, it's a painful thing. There's about 90, what is the number, like 19,000? Let me pull this up. There are 19,839 cryptos on CoinMarketCap right now. And there's one Bitcoin, and that means there's 19,838 other things that are all thrown into the same bucket. So everyone in the marketplace and everyone in the mainstream media is trying to figure out what's the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum, and what's the difference between Bitcoin and Celsius and Terra and Luna and DeFi and what's a currency and what's a stable coin and what will happen to these things. And so at the micro level, a lot of learning and rationalization as the industry goes across the chasm from the entrepreneurial offshore Wild West roots to the onshore institutional public visage or public image that is about to become. And it needs to evolve and change in order for the big banks and the big investors and the big institutions to become involved. And there's a lot of uncertainty as it changes. So I see the industry is going through a very critical transitional period. And then if we overlay on that, the macroeconomic environment, which is just brutally painful, right? I think today the NASDAQ is down 362 basis points right now, which is extreme red, right? There's extreme red across all asset classes. It's a big risk off day. Swap rates are leaping. And so that's a lot of stress that's being placed on the entire financial economic system. And in the midst of all that stress, a couple of breakdowns One, the famous one being Terra, but the secondary one being the Celsius breakdown that took place in the last few hours. Those are causing a lot of skittishness and a lot of panickiness amongst people that are short-term traders, or they don't have conviction. If you're a Bitcoin hodler, right, then all of this is just volatility if you have a long time horizon. But if you have a short time horizon, or you're trying to divine things week by week, day by day, then clearly a lot of anxiety in the air. And all of those things are a perfect cocktail for volatility.
Michael Saylor has formally called for the government to step in and regulate the crypto market. Earlier this week, the Bitcoin evangelist explained that Bitcoin has been a casualty of the collapsing crypto market.
Well, if I look back to the first of the year 2020, and I compare Bitcoin's performance versus everything else, I think it's 10x better than most conventional assets. So I think it's already been doing very well in the past few years. I think it'll continue to do very well, and the primary driver is going to be education, as more and more people understand what it is, as they understand a digital monetary network, and they understand its status as a non-sovereign store of value, deflationary, synthetic bearer instrument, right? As they understand that, then it's going to gain more adherence, and it's going to continue to monetize. It'll do it with fits and starts.
While Saylor has been critical of government intervention in the past, the CEO has now been vocal in his calls for regulators to control the crypto space. However, his calls aren't necessarily for Bitcoin regulation. They are more for governments to clamp down on the issuance of other cryptocurrencies. Saylor also took time to criticize crypto investment firms that appear to be propagating these unregistered securities. As he put it, the general public should not be purchasing these unregistered assets from wildcat bankers that may or may not be there next Thursday. The statement appeared to be a thinly veiled dig at Three Arrows Capital, the crypto investment firm that appears to be facing margin calls following the market downturn.
When you're a young investor, you hate the people that short your stock. You know, when I was an early CEO, I used to hate the short sellers. But then I began to realize that people that sell your stock short are going to buy your stock. They've just got it in reverse order. So people that short Bitcoin will eventually buy back Bitcoin to cover the short. They've got it in reverse order. The danger is not the traders. The danger is having an asset that is of no consequence to anyone, right? That is not interesting.
Although Saylor has been posturing and calling for government regulation, his company has also been in the market's crosshairs. Data from Bitcoin treasuries reveals that MicroStrategy is the market's biggest institutional Bitcoin holder, with $2 billion in Bitcoin on its balance sheet. The company has been on a buying spree for over a year, and it got part of its haul by borrowing $205 million from crypto-friendly bank Silvergate. Still, Saylor remains firm in his belief that MicroStrategy is financially stable. He said that the company has not faced any margin calls, adding that MicroStrategy is recently 10x over-collateralized on its Bitcoin loans.
I think this is the decade that it institutionalizes. So we're 2022 right now, and I think over the next 8 years, you see it progressively every year move from being a speculative, risk asset to a less speculative store of value bearer instrument. It'll probably take that long to mature. I got a set of milestones, right? There are the regulatory milestones. If FASB addresses the accounting issue and gives it fair value accounting, that would be a step in the right direction. That's one milestone forward. If the SEC approves a spot ETF, that's a second milestone. If they approve a dozen, it's the third milestone. If Senator Lummis's legislation gets finalized and approved and provides a sort of regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies, crypto property, crypto securities, crypto exchanges, et cetera, that's another big milestone. I think the FDIC providing guidance to banks would be another big milestone. I think that there's an entire class of traders that are entering the market right now that are getting comfortable. Every day you read a story about Citadel trading or Goldman Sachs trading. 2 years ago, even a year ago, they wouldn't have. So as they get more involved and as big banks offer coverage, like now you see Bank of America and Citigroup and others offering coverage of the space, I think that's another milestone. So you'll see a lot of those kind of regulatory milestones. I think a lot of the states, as they start to embrace Bitcoin mining, they create a degree of clarity to it.
While Saylor is putting on a brave face, there is little doubt that he must be feeling the pressure of the market. MicroStrategy's stock has slumped by 67% since the start of the year, and the company's Bitcoin stash is worth more than its actual market cap. With the market outlook still bleak, Saylor and MicroStrategy want things to get better quickly. So, do you think Bitcoin recovery phase will begin in July, or will it continue its struggle? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon with the next video. Thank you so much for watching.